Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a minute, but I wanted to be here today to talk to you about dating during a pandemic. I know it's a whole different world. Nobody could have expected 2020 to be what it was, and now we're in another year and it's continuing again. So I want to share some of my tips on how to still meet people during this pandemic. If you remember last year, I read a book called Situationship: How to Stop Breaking Your Own Heart. And one of the chapters that I was really passionate about writing was this chapter on meeting more date-worthy people. It's called 12 Proven Ways to Meet More Date-Worthy People. And the reason I wrote it was because I didn't want to write just a theoretical book. I wanted it to get practical. So now that the times have changed, I want to show you how you can apply some of these principles that I wrote into the current COVID world. So yeah, let's get into it. The first thing I started with was, if you say there are no good prospects, you are part of the problem. I'm gonna read that again. If you say there are no good prospects, you are part of the problem. And the idea this is trying to convey is that it starts with your mindset. You really have to believe that there are good prospects out there. There are great guys out there. All guys are not scum. There are really good people that you could meet out there, because when you start to imagine this kinds of good people, you start to see them, like you're open to the idea of meeting people that are great. So start with your mindset. During this lockdown, yes, it's a different world where you can still meet people during this pandemic. People are still getting into good relationships and you can be one of them. So that's the first thing. The second thing is be open, friendly, and approachable. What does that look like now that we're not going out? Well, it looks like going to the places that are available. When you go on a Zoom call for your friend's birthday, for a Bible study, turn on your camera, let them see you and see how glorious you look. You know, like, miracles can happen for sure. God can send your man to your doorstep. By all means, God is able to do that. But more often than not, you're going to need to be available. And in a world where we're not really seeing each other face to face, it looks like putting yourself in a position to meet people. So be open and approachable. On the conferences you're on, participate in them. When you're on a live call, when you're in clubhouse rooms and there's an opportunity to speak up. Like, don't just be a person that's in the shadows, because then you don't get noticed. Before somebody can date you, they must first notice you. So be in places where they can notice you. Yeah, that's the second thing. At the time I said leave your phone alone, but now I'm going to say, well, now that your phone is one of the ways you communicate with the outside world, don't leave your phone alone. Check up on your friends that you haven't seen in a while. Just even friends, like, don't have to be guy friends or your opposite sex friends. Just your friends that you haven't seen in a while. Connect with them and try not to be isolated. I believe that it's not good to seek relationships out of a place of isolation. So during this season where we're all alone at home, I think that it's helpful to connect with people, your friends that you haven't seen in a while. Just keep up with them, comment on their stories, or rather DM them when they post stories. Remember birthdays and celebrate people even as we are in quarantine, because being in a community is helpful. So aside meeting people, it's just helpful to not be in isolation, and so that you don't start missing human company too much and do things out of desperation that you would normally not do, you know, or like settle for people that are just really not your spec because you really are lonely. So connect with your friends and family just as a way of staying in contact with human beings, even when you're not thinking of dating them, because you're dating your family members. But I'm just trying to say that stay connected so you're not isolated. All right, I think you get it. So my fourth point was go to events you're invited to, even when you're not sure you will like them. So that means that if someone is hosting an Instagram live, like New Spring is having a couple of chat series on Instagram, go visit. I say visit. Physically, it just means you show up at the right time on your phone. If Anu and Dami are doing their Friday live night, go hang with them on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever they're doing. If someone is having a clubhouse thing that sounds vaguely interesting, go to it, because you don't know what you might meet. Great people there. It's all on social media, because those are the examples I can think about right now. And Clubhouse has been like, there's so many great intellectual conversations, and when you see somebody, you can always go to their profile, stalk them a bit more, go to their Twitter, go to their Instagram, see what they're about. If they're interesting enough, reach out, follow them, like their stuff, and just introduce yourself. I know it feels uncomfortable, to be honest, I get it, but I've been doing the same thing in the professional side because I'm trying to network more this year, and it feels a bit nerve-wracking at first, but so far as you don't do it in a cringy way, like look for something you genuinely that you have in common. Something, it could be as little as a mutual friend, it could be that you both love yellow, it could be that you're both into kayaking. or you're both into maybe a current challenge that you both did. You both went to the same school. I don't know, whatever, or you enjoyed something they said during the conversation and you make reference to that, so they know that you're not just a random person that is trying to make conversation with them. Just something that connects you, and start conversations. It might not feel comfortable, but just put yourself out there, because you're trying to meet people, right? So you have to try. Yeah. Another thing I would say is, again, social media. If you have social media, use it to your disadvantage. Post your pictures on Instagram. When you take nice photos, don't just hold them on your phone. Like, let people see you and remember what you look like. Again, we're all in lockdown, so like, if they don't know what you look like, nobody can really approach you. And I know this is hard because not everybody is like an extrovert or like an out there person. So maybe start with a simple Instagram story. Aim to post at least a couple stories a week, or at least one. Start with one. If you've not posted since 2017, post something out there so they can remember what you look like. Yeah. Lots of tips on social media, so I'm going to move on to some other ones that are not about social media. Let's see. So some things I mentioned here were go alone to events, but we're not having events right now, so let's skip that one. Consider online dating. So online dating, there are many apps right out there, and I think that it's harder for Christians and maybe even Christian Black people to find people on online dating apps, because there are so few Black people on the apps that I've been on when I was single. I don't know, but it has worked for people that I know. I have a couple friends that have met people there. They didn't necessarily marry them, but they met some great enough people there. So I would say consider it. Like, I'm not saying go and date someone entirely on the app, but do your due diligence outside the app. Look for people that you know in common and try to get a sense of who they are outside of what they present on the app. And during this season of quarantine, I know that's going to be a bit harder to feel people out, but if you go on online dating apps and you meet someone, man, it doesn't matter where you meet someone, you met someone, that's all. This one is, I'm heavy on it. Be open to be Matchmade. So if your friends that you're really close to don't know that you're interested in dating, I think you're doing yourself a disservice, because you can only be in so many places at the same time and you only know so many people. But if you think about 10 of your friends who you know and who know you really well, all being on the lookout for who will be a good person to match fuckboy with, and then they think about you when they meet great guys. They think about you when they're scrolling through Instagram and they see that one of their friends is single. Like, you're on top of their minds, you know. So tell your friends, your close friends. I'm not saying put it into the whole universe. I mean, you can do that as well, but at least your close friends, let them know you're single and let them know you're open to being matchmade. I hope you are open to being matchmade, because if you gotta be able to trust your friends at least. Yeah, and when they do matchmake you, consider guys that even don't seem like your spec at first. Sometimes we're good at knowing, like, oh gosh, this guy is like 100% my spec, but like sometimes you're not the best judge of what you would eventually like. So give people a chance. Sometimes they don't come packaged properly, so give a little bit of a chance. Go on 1 date, go on 2 dates to at least feel the person out a little bit before you say no. So I'm just trying to say that consider dates with people that you might not consider your type at the first time you see them. Got it? Okay, so I'm moving on again. Act on the feedback that your friends, family, and mentors give you. But in order to act on feedback, you must even be asking for it. You gotta be open to asking for feedback. Like, yo, do you guys think I'm doing everything I could possibly be doing to put myself out there? What would you say are some things I need to do better? And now that we're in lockdown, I know that this might not necessarily apply, so I'm cautious. I know that there's a different world. However, there might be little things that you could do better. Maybe like being more active on group chats you're in. Maybe, like I said earlier, being a part of more social media groups. Maybe being open to more people. Maybe you've been, to be honest, I know that maybe you've been extra picky, which can be good, but sometimes you have to give people a chance, because people are not always as they seem. So just imagine that. Just know that you might not always know what you want at the first time. So give people a chance some more. So I'm just trying to say that when you ask for feedback, be open to what they have to say and act on it. It's kind of rude when you get asked for feedback and then you don't act on it. So yeah. Host gatherings and cultivate deeper friendships. So I was saying earlier that you should reach out to your friends more. I know that we can't necessarily host gatherings in person, but maybe you can host virtual parties for people. You can host random get-togethers on Zoom on a Friday night to chill and talk with people that you haven't seen in forever. trust me, I've been to some very great Zoom parties and some not so great ones. It depends on how much work you put into planning them. To some games that are really fun, that require you to find some things in your house and participate fully. So I'm just saying that you could really use the internet to your advantage. Maybe now that there's Clubhouse, you could host rooms there rather than just waiting for rooms to be hosted. If you have a good idea about something, just do it. This isn't here, but pray about it. Like, I believe that there are a lot of things we can do to meet people, but honestly, there's also the hand of God in causing time and chance to work together for our good. So I'm just asking that you pray about it. You tell God for real about your desire to meet someone, and just be honest, completely honest. It's just you and God. Share all the things that are on your heart. Share all the disappointments you've had. Share all the fears you have, and trust that there's a plan for your life. Trust that all things will work together for good, and continue to study God's word to find things to encourage you. Because man, I think that meeting people while desperate is not the best way to meet people. So pray and trust God as a way to calm all the fears that come up with a whole year and a half going by of not being able to go on any dates. I know it's hard, so I want to say I hear you, and I'm praying that God would cause you to meet people. But above all, even beyond meeting people that to date, I think it's just so important to not be lonely and isolated during this time. The government does allow you to merge with one or two other people. So if you have a close friend or a family that you're close enough to that you can hang with once in a while, that you can meet, consider doing that so you're not totally alone during this season. I would like to hear what you have to say, what you would have to add to this video. What things are working for you guys right now in terms of meeting people during this quarantine season, and what encouragement do you have to people that are interested in meeting others? Yeah, so this is my recap of my book, Situationship: How to Stop Breaking Your Own Heart, and the chapter I was reading through was 12 ways to meet more date-worthy people. I hope that you find something in this video helpful, especially during this time of quarantine. And if you have found anything helpful, please like this video, leave a comment, tell me what you found helpful, tell me any other tips you would have added to this video, and subscribe to my channel. I share helpful things. I only come on here when I have something that's truly helpful to share, and I hope you appreciate it. All right, until next time, I'm Foxy, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Bye. Anything in my teeth?
No.